The Amanda Knox trial, it has gripped the nation, not just people here in Washington, but really around the world. Both the prosecution and the defense in the case, former University of Washington student Amanda Knox, accused of murder, have filed notices of appeal. Prosecutors are asking Amanda Knox's sentence be increased to life in prison. The Knox defense wants the conviction overturned and an independent expert to be allowed to review the evidence. An appeals trial is expected to start in the fall. Well, we're happy to have with us Seattle PI blogger and Italian-American journalist Candace Dempsey, who has a very interesting perspective on not just this crime, but the Italian trial, the court system there, and more. And she has a new book out. It hits the store shelves today. It is called, we have a graphic of it, Murder in Italy, the shocking slaying of a British student, the accused American girl, and an international scandal. Candace, first, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You know,
thank you.
It's interesting to look at the cover of the book and realize that this isn't just a story. It's a story that really has impacted so many people here, and that most, if not all of us, have followed. And you have been able to cover it from the very, very beginning.
Yes, I have, and those pictures that you just showed are so familiar to me, Amanda in the green jacket, because I was actually in court, of course, when she was wearing the green jacket, and that was during the closing arguments, and that was the most dramatic part of the trial.
So, and you've been so up close to the trial. So when you see her, when we see these pictures, I just feel like that could be anyone's daughter. When you see her in the courtroom, the real life her, what has that been like for you?
Well, it's interesting. She does look exactly as you would think she would look. The pictures we see of her, she looks like an American college student. And that is the fascination. I've talked to British reporters and Italian reporters, and I ask them, like, why this particular girl? And they'll say, she looks like she came out of an American movie.
That's part of the intrigue, as you said. The status of her case, though, you know, her defense is hoping that they will win an appeal. You have followed the case. What do you think, knowing the Italian court system, are her chances? I
think she has a really good chance of getting reduced sentences on appeal the first time. So she's at 26 years, maybe she'll go down to 16. And then I think...
Based on the forensic evidence?
Well, just based on an appeal, her co-conspirator, Rudy Guidet, he had 30 years. He's now got 16. So she has a really good chance of having it knocked down. And the forensics are kind of weak, especially the knife. A very controversial test used to identify the DNA on the knife. So she has a really good chance of getting that thrown out, I believe, because she'll ask for independent review, and it could be just tossed at that point.
Now, for your book, were you able to talk to her or the other two who've been convicted in this crime?
That's the fascination with the three of them, is that none of us, they weren't famous before, and so none of us have actually met them. We can't talk to them in prison. So, no, I have not.
And what about the family of the victim, Meredith Kercher? Were you able to talk to them?
I spoke to Stephanie Kercher very briefly one time, and then the parents come to press conferences, but they don't give interviews to anyone.
Do they believe that Amanda Knox is responsible?
I think they've hinted that they do, yes, but that is very typical of families in any kind of criminal prosecution, because if you put yourself in their place, why would you not think that? Because you have to put your faith in the prosecution. So,
what do you make of the Italian court system compared to our system and its treatment of Amanda Knox?
There are good things and bad things about the Italian system. For example, she has an automatic appeal, and in the United States she would have a terrible time getting an appeal. It would be very difficult. And after this appeal, she gets to go to the Supreme Court of Italy, which is like our U.S. Supreme Court.
So she might have a better chance then, there than here, of having the sentence reduced.
Yes, and also she gets a change of venue now, because she's finally getting out of Perugia at that very last level. And in Rome people Italians tend to be very snobby. So if you're a Roman, you don't necessarily think that people in Perugia know what they're talking about. They live in a different city. It's smaller. It's on a hilltop.
So the case could play out completely differently.
It could, yes.
In Rome versus Perugia. Is that what you're saying?
It's just that they look at the same evidence differently. For example, they threw out, she had an appeal before the Rome court before, and they threw out they called it her false confession, because she didn't have a lawyer. But that had been accepted in Perugia as fine. So,
what has been most intriguing to you, having covered this case from the beginning, compiling the information and your research for this book? What has been most compelling for you that might surprise some of us?
I definitely, how people view Seattleites has been absolutely fascinating, because Amanda is a Seattle girl, and I think that when we look at her, a lot of her quirky behavior we don't care about. For example, she will do yoga while she's talking to you. So, Or she uses expressions like, I would kill for a pizza. And in Italy, they took that literally, I would kill for a pizza. So that they'll go, I saw an Italian lawyer on TV, and she was saying, oh, if she would kill for a pizza, what else would she do? And so I think it's the fascinating contrast between those two cultures. And for me, it's so interesting because I live here in Seattle for many years, and I'm also Italian American. So to see my two favorite cultures, Seattle and Italy, in the courtroom is absolutely riveting.
And people can read all about it. Candace's book is called Murder in Italy. It goes on sale today. She's a local writer, and as you said, Italian American, who's covered this case from the very, very beginning. Candace Dempsey, pleasure to have you in here, and success with your novel.
Thank you so much.
It's not a novel. It's a real life story.
It reads like a novel or a movie.
Reads like a novel.
It's hard to believe this case is so fascinating. The characters are so riveting that you do think it's a novel, but it's actually, it happened.
Unbelievable
story. It all happened.
But true. Thank you so much.
Thank you.